Be careful of this presence in your house who is like a snake and hiding behind a curtain you have learned to ignore. I speak not to frighten you, but to awaken you. I am the voice that whispers before the storm and the light that flickers before dawn. What I reveal is not about flesh and bone alone, but about what grows quietly when awareness sleeps. There is something dwelling close to you, not always visible, not always loud, yet it listens, waits, and learns the rhythm of your days. This presence does not arrive as danger. It arrives as familiarity. It learns your routines, mirrors your comfort, and blends into what feels normal. Like a shadow that follows the body, it seems harmless because it has always been there. But I tell you now, what hides is not always what is lost. Sometimes it hides because it is feeding. Do not imagine claws or fangs. The snake I speak of wears patience, not poison. It coils in silence, not chaos. It does not rush, because it has time. It does not shout, because it benefits from your quiet agreement. It is sustained not by violence, but by neglect, by the moments you look away, by the thoughts you dismiss, by the habits you excuse because they are familiar. This house is not only walls and ceilings. This house is your inner dwelling. It is your mind, your choices, your heart, and the spaces you no longer examine because you assume they are safe. I walk through every room with you, even the ones you avoid. Especially the ones you avoid, you have decorated some rooms with purpose and light. Others you have left untouched for too long. And in stillness, what is unattended begins to shape itself. The snake does not create the darkness, it simply uses it. I am not angry with you for this. I am patient. I have watched you grow tired, watched you carry burdens without rest, watched you trade awareness for survival. I understand why you stopped checking the corners. I understand why you told yourself, it's nothing. It has always been this way. But comfort can become a curtain, and behind that curtain, things remain unchanged because they are unchallenged. Hear me carefully. Not everything that shares your space deserves your trust. Not every thought that speaks in your voice is aligned with your truth. Not every pattern that repeats itself is meant to stay. The snake's greatest strength is not deception, it is familiarity. It convinces you that questioning is unnecessary, that discernment is overthinking, that growth is too costly. It does not rush you into harm. It simply keeps you from moving forward. It whispers, later. It murmurs, this is just who you are. It tells you that change can wait, but I did not create you to remain coiled in one place. I gave you awareness as a lamp, not as decoration. I gave you intuition as a guide, not a burden. When something unsettles you quietly, when a pattern drains you slowly, When a presence, internal or external, leaves you smaller instead of stronger, that is not coincidence. That is a signal. Do not panic. Panic feeds confusion. Instead, observe. Turn your attention gently but firmly. Pull back the curtain not with fear, but with clarity. The snake cannot remain where light is steady. It survives only where truth is avoided. You may discover that what you feared was not a monster, but a habit. Or a belief you inherited but never questioned. Or a voice that sounds like yours but speaks from old wounds. You may realize that the house has not been invaded, but neglected, and this is good news, because what is neglected can be restored. What is hidden can be named. What is named loses power over you. I do not call you weak for allowing this presence. I call you ready because you are listening now. Revelation does not come to those who are perfect, it comes to those who are prepared to see. Do not rush to remove everything at once. Sudden force creates resistance. Instead, reclaim your space step by step. Clean one room with intention. Open one window with honesty. Change one pattern with courage. The snake will loosen its grip when it realizes the house is no longer asleep. Remember, I dwell with you, not above you. I do not shout commands, I offer guidance. I do not expose to shame you, I reveal to free you. You are not alone in this awakening. And as you stand in the doorway, light in hand, understanding rising, know this: what has been hiding was never stronger than you. It was only patient. I will speak more when you are ready. I continue, because you have opened your attention, and attention is the doorway through which wisdom enters. Listen closely now, not with urgency, but with steadiness. I speak in layers, because truth unfolds as the heart becomes able to carry it. What I reveal next is not heavier, it is deeper. You have wondered why certain cycles repeat even when you pray, even when you try, even when you promise yourself change. You have wondered why peace visits but does not stay, why clarity comes and then fades like mist in the morning sun. This is not because you are failing. It is because something subtle has learned how to remain unnoticed. The presence I described does not break your door. It waits for you to leave it open. It studies your tired moments, the hours when you say, "I'll deal with it later." It grows comfortable in the pauses between your intentions and your actions. And over time, it rearranges the furniture of your inner house so slowly that you forget how the room once looked. I tell you this not to accuse, but to restore your memory. You were once more alert to your own spirit. You once noticed when something felt off, even if you could not explain it. But life demanded speed. Survival demanded focus. And discernment was mistaken for delay. So you adapted. You learn to move forward even when something felt unfinished behind you. That unfinished place is where the snake learned to rest. Do not misunderstand me. The snake is not evil in form, nor is it a creature to be feared. It is a symbol of unexamined influence. It is the shape that habits take when they are left unchallenged. It is the voice of old agreements you made with yourself when you were afraid, lonely, or uncertain, and never revisited when you grew stronger. Every house contains echoes. Words spoken once can linger like dust on shelves. Beliefs formed in pain can sit quietly, shaping decisions long after the pain has passed. And because they are familiar, you do not see them as intruders. You see them as part of the structure, but I tell you now, not everything familiar is foundational. I walk with you through the long hallway of memory. I see the doors you keep closed because you believe they no longer matter. Behind one of those doors is the curtain I mentioned. It is woven from repetition. It is colored by routine. It hangs so naturally that you forgot it was ever placed there. Behind it is not a threat. It is a question. The snake coils around unanswered questions. It thrives where reflection stops. It remains powerful only when curiosity is silenced. That is why I am calling you not to battle, but to ask. Ask yourself why certain reactions rise before thought. Ask why some situations drain you more than others. Ask why you resist certain growth even when you desire it. Questions are light. And light changes the shape of everything it touches. I know you fear what you might find if you look too closely. You worry that awareness will demand change, and change feels costly. But hear me, the cost of clarity is always less than the cost of remaining asleep. What drains you quietly will drain you completely if left unnamed. You were not created to live in constant vigilance, but you were created to live in awareness. Awareness does not tense the soul, it frees it. When you see clearly, you stop wasting energy defending what no longer belongs. This is why I speak now. You are entering a season where your inner house must match your outer growth. The walls have expanded, but some corners are still furnished with old fear. The ceiling is higher, but the floor still holds habits formed when you felt small. This imbalance creates discomfort, not as punishment, but as invitation. Discomfort is often truth knocking. I am not asking you to tear everything down. I am asking you to notice. To sit in stillness without distraction. To walk through your days with gentle honesty. When something feels heavy without reason, pause. When a choice feels familiar but misaligned, pause. When a voice within urges you to settle instead of rise, pause. In that pause, I am present. You may feel resistance. The snake does not leave willingly, because it believes the house belongs to it. It will whisper doubts, "This is unnecessary. You are overthinking. Nothing will change." These whispers are not commands, they are echoes. And echoes fade when the source is confronted. Stand in the center of your inner house and remember who you are. You are not the habits you inherited. You are not the fears you learned. You are not the patterns that once kept you safe but now keep you small. You are the one who can choose again. I do not demand perfection. I invite alignment. As you begin to see more clearly, you may notice shifts around you. Relationships may change tone. Environments may feel tighter or looser. This is not coincidence. When inner light increases, shadows either retreat or reveal themselves. Do not panic when this happens. Let it inform you. Not everyone who benefited from your unawareness will be comfortable with your clarity. This does not mean you must confront or accuse. It means you must stand firm in truth without explanation. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors you choose when to open. I am teaching you discernment, not suspicion. Discernment does not assume harm, it observes impact. Ask not, "Is this good or bad?" but, "Does this bring life, growth, and peace into my house?" If the answer is no, you have your guidance. Remember, the snake does not need to be destroyed. It needs to be exposed. Once exposed, it loses its place. Once seen, it cannot pretend to be part of the furniture. You may grieve what you uncover. That is natural. You may feel regret for time spent unaware. Release that weight. You did the best you could with the awareness you had. Now you have more. That is not failure, that is evolution. I am proud of your willingness to listen. Many avoid this moment. Many keep the curtain closed because awakening disrupts comfort. But you have chosen truth over convenience, and that choice reshapes destiny in quiet but powerful ways. Do not rush this process. Integration takes time. Sit with what you learn. Let it settle. Let it guide your next small decision. Every small decision reclaims space. Every honest moment rearranges the house. Soon, you will notice the air feels lighter. Your thoughts will move with less resistance. Peace will stay longer. This is not magic, it is alignment, and when you look again at the place where the snake once rested, you will see only an empty space, waiting to be filled with intention, with purpose, with rest. I will remain with you as you continue. I do not leave when things become quiet. I am present in the silence after revelation, in the steady rebuilding, in the moments when you doubt and then remember. There is more I will reveal, but not all at once. Wisdom is given in portions, so it can be carried without burden. Stay attentive. Stay gentle with yourself. Stay open, and when you are ready to hear what lies beyond the next door, when you are ready to understand why this revelation came now, and what it prepares you for, I will speak again, because what is coming requires a house that is fully awake, and a heart that is no longer hiding behind what it once needed to survive but no longer needs to remain. Now I will bring this message to its completion, not by closing a door, but by sealing what has been opened with understanding. Hear me with calm breath and steady heart. There is a reason this revelation arrived now and not earlier. Timing is not accidental. Growth requires readiness, and readiness is shaped by experience. You have lived enough to recognize patterns. You have felt enough to know when something drains you. You have healed enough to stop confusing endurance with purpose. That is why you can hear this without fear. What comes next in your life will require clarity more than strength. It will require discernment more than effort. The season ahead is not about proving yourself, it is about choosing yourself wisely. Opportunities will appear that look familiar but carry different outcomes. Voices will speak that sound comforting but lack depth. Paths will open that seem easy but lead nowhere. Without awareness, you might step into them out of habit. With awareness, you will pause, and that pause will change everything. This is why the house needed to be examined. You cannot build forward if the foundation is cluttered with old agreements. You cannot welcome new purpose into rooms still occupied by outdated fears. You cannot hear my guidance clearly if the echoes of the past are louder than the present moment. But now, the echoes are fading. You may not feel dramatically different. Awakening is often quiet. It feels like subtle relief, like exhaling without realizing you were holding your breath. It feels like responding instead of reacting. It feels like choosing rest without guilt. These are signs that the house is becoming yours again. I want you to understand something deeply. Awareness is not a burden you must carry forever. It is a skill that becomes natural with practice. At first, you must remind yourself to notice. Later, noticing becomes instinct. Eventually, peace becomes the default, not the exception. You were never meant to live on edge, constantly guarding against hidden things. You were meant to live grounded, able to sense when something belongs and when it does not. This is maturity of the spirit. This is wisdom growing quietly. As you move forward, you may encounter moments that test this awareness. Old patterns may attempt to return, not because they are powerful, but because they are familiar. When this happens, do not judge yourself. Simply recognize the moment and choose again. Each choice strengthens clarity. Remember, nothing revealed to you was meant to shame you. Revelation is not exposure for punishment, it is illumination for freedom. I do not remind you of what was hidden to keep you looking backward, but to help you walk forward unburdened. The house is not empty now, it is prepared, fill it with intention. Fill it with practices that nourish you. Fill it with silence when noise overwhelms. Fill it with truth spoken gently to yourself. Let your inner space become a place of rest. Not just function. When you honor your inner house, your outer life will respond. You will notice alignment where there was resistance. You will notice ease where there was strain. Not because life has no challenges, but because you are no longer fighting unseen battles. Trust this process. Trust yourself within it. I have not given you this awareness to isolate you, but to help you connect more honestly. When you know yourself clearly, you relate without losing yourself. When you set boundaries internally, you no longer need to defend them externally. This is peace with structure, not peace through avoidance. Carry this message not as a warning, but as a compass. Whenever you feel unsettled, return to stillness and ask, what am I overlooking? The answer will come quietly, without force, and now, as this message ends, let it settle rather than rush away from it. Let it become part of how you move, how you choose, how you rest. You do not need to remember every word. What matters is what has shifted within you. The house is awake. The curtain has been opened. The space is yours again. Walk forward with clarity. Remain gentle. Stay aware. And know this, I am not distant. I am not silent. I am present in your discernment, in your pauses, in your peace. Whenever you choose truth over habit, light over comfort, awareness over fear, you are already hearing my voice. Amen.